is Christopher Neufeld, and I am a corporate commercial lawyer with nearly 20 years of legal experience, with a strong emphasis upon business development. In this particular video, we will be looking at three primary and distinct roles that individuals play within a corporation, with the same person often holding one, two, or all three of those roles at the same time. The primary roles that people assume within a corporation. There are three primary roles that people assume within a corporation. One, that of an officer. Two, that of a director. And three, that of a shareholder. Directors. Directors are elected by the shareholders to manage the business and affairs of the corporation. By electing the directors, shareholders place their trust in the directors to manage the corporation's business in a way that will preserve and enhance shareholder investment. Directors bear responsibility for supervising the corporation's activities and for making decisions regarding those activities. If the expectations of the shareholders are not met, shareholders may elect new directors. They may even choose to remove directors before the end of their term. A person is qualified to be a director of a corporation pursuant to the Business Corporations Act, unless that person is under the age of 18, not a natural person, for example, a partnership or another corporation cannot be a director of a corporation, or the person is bankrupt. In many provinces, including Ontario and Alberta, at least 25% of the directors of a corporation must reside in Canada. If the board of directors consists of 3 directors or less, at least one of the directors must be resident in Canada. The articles of incorporation, or the bylaws, typically stipulate a term of office of a director. If there is no provision for terms of office, a director's term ends at the next meeting of the shareholders. Generally, directors may be removed from office by ordinary resolution of the shareholders at a special meeting, and a replacement director can be elected at the same meeting. Officers. Officers are appointed by the board of directors and are responsible for the day-to-day operations of a corporation. For example, the officers can hire staff and enter into contracts on behalf of the corporation. Common corporate offices are those of the president, the secretary, and the treasurer. Any individual can be an officer of a corporation. Officers may, but do not need to be shareholders or directors of the corporation. It is common in many small private corporations for one individual to be the sole director, the sole officer, and the sole shareholder. The board of directors may remove an officer at the discretion of the board, subject to any applicable employment legislation. Shareholders. Shareholders are essentially the owners of a corporation. Owning shares does not entitle a shareholder to claim any specific asset of the corporation, but may entitle the shareholder to a portion of the profits of the corporation's business, or a portion of any money left if the company is dissolved and debts have been paid, similarly if the corporation is sold. Shareholders who own shares with voting rights elect the directors. This means final control of corporate affairs is determined by the number of voting shares and the people who own those voting shares. Shareholders can limit the power of the directors to direct the management of the corporation by means of unanimous shareholders agreement. If all the shareholders agree, they can take powers away from the directors, but then the shareholders must assume responsibility for those powers themselves. For legal representation and effective legal counsel in the realm of business incorporation, from incorporating a new company to drafting a unanimous shareholders agreement and more, feel free to contact myself by telephone or email as set forth in this video, or through our website www.lawyerincorporation.com. Thank you.